And this is important because right now, NATO can politically get away with it because legally speaking, in the eyes of much of the world, Kherson is Ukraine. Right. Even Russia will say it's Ukraine right now. Zaporizhia, Ukraine. Donbass, Russia says they're independent, but they're not yet Russia. What Vladimir Putin did is set in motion the events that'll make every piece of territory where a Russian soldier currently stands Mother Russia in the eyes of Russia, which means any action undertaken by Ukraine or NATO against this territory, targeting this territory, becomes an act of war against Russia. What Putin has done is put it right in the face of NATO and say, do you want war? Here's your chance. I'm here. Russia's here. We're here. Bring it on. Because if you do, it's all over for you. Putin, it wasn't bluff when he said, we have the means to defend ourselves. We have better weapons than you. Everybody knows what he's talking about. Nuclear weapons. We are literally, they have that doomsday clock.
Yeah.
You got to move it to 1 second before midnight. We're this close to the world ending. That close. Right like that. Jeez. If NATO doesn't back the hell off.
What's up, everybody? It's the Rescue Michigan Coalition's weekly live stream, and that was some very unsettling reporting from Scott Ritter. If you don't know who that is, he was a UN weapons inspector, former U.S. Marine, notable for having said there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Haven't been there and looked for them, but that was a pretty dire warning. We're going to come back to that at some point. We don't really talk about international affairs much on this channel because, we're all about Michigan politics, and we have a special guest tonight. We have Patrice Johnson from Pure Integrity for Michigan Elections. She's been a guest on our show in the past. Someone who started a great organization, really just I think about the same time we got started after the 2020 election, and they've got some incredible news, some of the things they've been working on. You may have heard the story about a Flint clerk resigning, and they also have a federal lawsuit they're going to talk about. We've got a lot to get into with Patrice, and then we've got plenty more to talk about, what with the election 6 weeks away and everything else. I'm going to come back to that Scott Ritter clip in a little bit, too. But first, how's everyone doing tonight? How are you guys in the chat? You can say hello. I see Patty and Dwayne on Facebook. We are also streaming on Rumble and YouTube, as always, so feel free to say hello. And by the way, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, we are actually probably going to kill the stream on YouTube once we start talking about the election and election integrity. YouTube is completely hostile to even discussing that subject. There was a point, I think a few months ago, where YouTube gave us a channel strike for allegedly claiming the election in 2020 was stolen, and we appealed it, and then the appeal did go through because we didn't actually say that. And then this just happened over and over and over again with stream after stream after stream. You can't even talk about the 2020 election on YouTube. So Jeb Stewart on YouTube and Tyler, hello. Tyler says European countries are also facing energy shortages this winter if they don't stop funding Ukraine. Yeah, we're gonna talk more about that later on the program, Tyler. But both of you guys really should probably go to our Rumble channel to watch and participate in the chat, or you can go to us on Facebook. If you search for Rescue Michigan Coalition on Facebook, you can reach us there, because we are going to probably have to turn off the YouTube stream early. So anyway, with that, Shane, Amber, how are you guys doing this week? You having fun? It's been a pleasant week, right? 6 weeks before an election. This is usually the most fun time of the year, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's heating up. Everything's heating up. But one of the good things is it does seem like the people in the grassroots are getting into gear. They're really doing what they can, going all out in the last possible days to get the word out and try to turn this sinking ship around. There's obvious disadvantages, impediments. It doesn't seem like there's enough lit for a lot of these candidates, but people are getting out there. They are hitting the doors and doing everything that they can to salvage the Republican ticket this year. So we hope that we can do that. It won't be easy, but I don't think that the Democrats are as strong as they're perceived or portrayed by the media and their polls.
Right. I certainly agree with you about the polls. There's not very many pollsters that are reliable other than People's Pundit, Trafalgar, and Rasmussen are probably only three I can even think of. But that being said, there's clearly been a drop off with the typical what we'd call establishment support for the Republican ticket this year for whatever reason. And that's really frustrating. But at the same time, this is the most important midterm election I can think of in a long time. And I know the grassroots are fired up. We have been doing everything we can to supply you guys with literature. We are all out of our proposal flyers. We will be getting more at some point, but we do have plenty of Gretchen Whitmer flyers. We delivered, I think, over 35,000 of them in the last couple of days. If you had ordered some and you didn't get them yet, you should be getting them tomorrow, unless you just recently placed an order. But those are going out fast. And certainly, if we've shown them off before on the show, and you can see them at rescuemichigan.com, and they're really hard hitting. And apart from that, we've also been encouraging everyone to knock on doors in their precinct and get creative, folks. You know, you can make a flyer, you can pay someone to make a flyer, you can find someone that can design a flyer for you. But we have to get the word out about things. We'll be talking more about current events. Nikki on Facebook says, how can I find out if my order shipped? Tracking number. I can check for you, Nikki. But we're shipping them USPS priority mail. So, and they're going directly from our print shop. So I don't have the tracking numbers on hand. Jay Michaud says, can you recommend a printing company for campaign lit? Well, that depends on your location, Jay. I will tell you, our guy is, it's uniquecards.com with a Y-O-U. I'll put that link on the screen at some point, and maybe I'll put the print rep's contact information in the chat. West American Mailers out of Grand Rapids is another one, but look around. There's lots of print shops you can get quotes from different places. Amber, how are you doing this fine Sunday evening?
Itchy.
Yeah. It has been a long week, and this is the way it goes, folks. I mean, before an election is always when things get crazy, when all kinds of things start happening and coming fast. But anyway, without further ado, then I want to introduce Patrice Johnson. And Patrice, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and PIME, as it's called, Pure Integrity for Michigan Elections. Give us the quick background, and I've got these documents on hand. I can pull up the news story on the screen, and I think we'll start with talking about what's happening in Flint. And but yeah, why don't you take it away, Patrice?
Oh, well, sure. Can you hear me okay?
We do.
Yeah, well, PIME started about January of 2021, so we haven't been around all that long, but we have a lot of very active supporters, and we're part of Michigan Fair Elections too, which is task force based groups in 44 counties of our 83. So we're very happy about that. But what we did with PIME is we focused on legislation, but the main focus was election integrity, and that was before it was a key word that it was being floated around so much.
Speaking of that, I think I should probably hang up on YouTube now. Mary Henman on Rumble says, yay, Patrice. So she is watching on Rumble in the chat. Folks watching on Rumble, feel free to participate. I don't know if you have to create a Rumble account to chat on Rumble, but you should do that because it's one of the few remaining free speech platforms left. All right, let's see if I can hang up on YouTube here. Yeah, here we go. All right, bye-bye YouTube. Check us out on Facebook or on Rumble, and be sure you hit that like and subscribe button before you click away.